I think we got a record here. We got 51 people on stream. 52.
Nice.
50.
Good.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
good
down
evening
to
to all the
47
new
for
people.
lands.
Yeah, good evening to all the new people. Shall we begin? Let the vault. Love the vault look yet. Has everybody had a chance to have a look yet? There's two parts, obviously. There's the part that shows you the fly through of the shop. I did talk. I'll talk about that part first. I did try to tell you guys that you would have noticed if you have a close look, you can see the shadowing, you can see the movement, you can see the reflection of the lights. So the people that we're using are pretty much the best in the world at what they do. As stated, we've had some people that work on Marvel and stuff working on this as well. The thing is that we didn't want to go for something that was cartoony looking from the perspective of the interior of the shops and stuff, because we're talking to some pretty big clients and they want to make sure that they have their products well represented. Someone said, hey, why don't you not make it look like a normal building that you'd have on Earth? You're in space, you can do whatever you like. The thing is that this is a showcase and it is supposed to highlight the realistic effects that we can actually provide, and you can't do that if you're doing it on some never seen before shape or whatever of a building. People need to be able to liken it to real life, and that gives people the ability to imagine what they can actually do. So that's a very important. I thought that part was obvious, but some people obviously didn't put two and two together. But the idea is to show you we use real-time rendering. We can replicate any type of real-world space if we wanted to. You'll notice the floor texture, everything is 100% thought through and thought of. Will it still look the same on mobile? Yeah, so PJ, we talked about that one before. We also have acquired a second generation streaming platform, and the second generation streaming platform also has a compression ability on it for videos and production quality stuff. So if you're doing streams from the virtual space or you're watching videos, it's actually been made for people with relatively average internet and stuff. So we've got some cool tools, but the way that works is if you've got a 2.5 megabyte video, it compresses it down to 800 kilobytes, and so you've still got amazing quality coming through. So one of the things that we said was a prerequisite was our audience is predominantly mobile, so we have to make sure that it is amazing in mobile as well. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly is if you had a look at the pictures, if you haven't seen it, go into the blog and have a look at, or the website, and have a look at the actual pictures of the floating city. Of course, we have a lot of work to do to finalise all of the different areas. We've also displayed what one of the city centres looks like as a theme to give you an understanding, but you have to understand that it is a work in progress, and we're revealing things the same way we did for KOGs first edition. So we'll be doing it slowly and showing you step by step, so taking you on that journey. But you also have to understand that we have to hold some stuff back as well. It's an extremely competitive space. It's going to get super competitive. And if you're upping the ante and pushing up the benchmark, then people are going to come in and want to try and one up you. So we're being very guarded on the rollout. What else? Oh, this is from before. Yes, exactly right, Hero Gamer. To showcase the possibilities. Reebok sign on his first lieutenant. Hanford. Let's just say that we're talking to a number of brands, some a lot bigger. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I make no apologies for it. We have to learn to say no more than we say yes, because we want to make sure that we do things to a certain level of quality. But we've got a project that sits Pete's probably going to start to mute me. We've got a project that's actually in line with the theme of the vault, the virtual space, that is going to blow people's heads off. And yes, let's just say that that's massive. And these things are they're all coming together because of the fact that we're producing the quality work. I want to address one question that people have asked. Well, how does this actually help the RFOX token? I don't understand. The whole universe and metaverse is powered by the RFOX token, meaning every transaction, every sale, every shop sale, everything will go through RFOX, billboards, advertising, everything. So the thing is, the other question we've had is, what about marketing? We're about to start ramping that very, very much harder now. The thing is, we didn't want to bring people into something that didn't exist or bring people into something that we didn't have. But now we've got several things to show these people, obviously, that are coming in, and we've got enough of a look and a feel. I shared a story earlier today with my guys. I was speaking to some investors from China, showed them a picture. One of the guys said, "It's stupid, I don't get it." I went on a 4-minute rant about how the digital world has evolved and changed, talked about how bricks and mortar businesses have no advantage over other bricks and mortar businesses now. Everybody can have a platform to be able to showcase their products. It's an immersive e-commerce experience. It's got the streaming component. We're going to do races there. I won't talk about that one, sorry. We're going to be doing lots of stuff there.
Yeah. Good save, Benny. Good save. I wasn't paying attention. I need to cut you off sooner.
Yeah. For those of you who are new, Pete basically has to mute me because I always say too much. But the fact is that we've got so much stuff coming up, and I gave a 4-minute rant to these guys about how if he didn't get it or he didn't understand it, that's cool, but everybody around him will get it and start using it, and how important it is for us to build something like this that's immersive and all the rest of it. And in the end, they clapped and they asked how much it would cost to build our future. So that was a very, very touching thing. And once you explain it to people, they get it pretty easy. Very average intelligence, really. The images of the city are awesome. Crypto J, there's still a work in progress, obviously. But the fact is that the guys that are building it for us are also perfectionists. So they've given us lots more pictures, obviously, and lots more visuals, but they don't want us to release anything until it's 100% perfect too, and we agree. But the fact is, it has to be AAA game quality. We're building it on Unity, as we've said to you before. The integration to blockchain will be purely from the NFT and payment component. So all of the buildings and the assets are NFT. So that building you watched the video for, the fly-through, that will be an NFT. So you'll be able to transfer the ownership of that through an NFT. So we're doing some pretty cool stuff. All the assets, everything. And then the cool part about it is you've seen that. So what you'll do is you'll arrive on like a little rocket, or there's actually another way, but I'm not going to talk about that yet. You've got a central hub. It's kind of like a train station and a central hub, and you catch little sky trains. So you'll catch a sky train to each of the other cities, and you'll be able to see the galaxy and stuff out the windows. It's bloody amazing. You'll want to spend hours in there.
Slow down, Benny. Slow down, Benny. I know you're getting very excited.
Okay. Okay. Just realised how similar to Stargate Atlantis. There's actually a lot of similarities. Tell us more about your design partners and what they're bringing to the table. Yeah, so the design partners are actually guys that are video game geeks, but they've also been doing real-time rendering. They use a lot of cool technology to not end up looking like some of the competitors look like. What they try and do is that they can actually recreate buildings like the Louvre or the Sydney Opera House, and you'd swear that you're actually inside of those places. They can make the shadows, they can make the depths, they can make the perceptions, they can make everything. It is absolutely breathtaking what they can actually build and do. So that's what will be happening.
With the new iPhones, when the technology that they said you'd be able to use the iPhone and actually be in a place like that and have the same feel, that's what it sounds like, what you're describing.
Yeah, 100%. The good part about it is that since we've started talking about it and really describing it in detail, everybody keeps saying to me, hey, Benny, you need to look at this. This is what this person's talking about. And Raul's talking about someone will build something like exactly what you're building. Other people are saying, who will be the first to build this type of a metaverse? So a lot of what the technology is being built, it won't be a fluke. We'll integrate a lot of stuff. And personally, I'd like to do a lot of stuff with 5G and blockchain as well, because the crossover there is massive. But we are 100% looking at building this as a sandbox and allowing these tech partners and these companies to come in and integrate and to drive this technology. If we do it as a small team of passionate people with some great base ideas and a really great concept, that's cool. But then we let the big boys come in and really take it to that next level. Will the Reebok shoes allow us to fly in the virtual space? Quite honestly, Apprentice, it was Reebok took a little bit of convincing about obviously putting their toes in the NFT water. Some people's criticism was, hey, it looked like it was a pretty rushed launch because it just sort of all came up out of nowhere. But the fact is that when you're that high profile and you've got your competitors looking at going out roughly the same time, you know how blockchain works. People see what's been created, so it has to all be done slap bang right. And it was literally all pulled together as far as the release 5 minutes before the launch. I think Pete and myself and a few others had heart attacks. But the fact is that it is more than proven the point that this is a space that they need to be dabbling further into. So talks will ensue. How will these big brands buy RFOX for the land sale? I can see them looking in to do so. Have you been thought through? Yeah, so 50H, we've explained this before, and we don't do OTC and we don't do any of those types of things, but the amount of people now, and I did explain earlier that one country is taking us by surprise with how much interest they've got. I think they want to really own the virtual space as far as like take all of their people there. I'll let that unfold and explain itself. But ultimately, we've already been approached by several parties who have sort of said, can you buy the RFOX for us on the market and then bid for us? And we've sort of said no, but it's been becoming a common trend now. They're wanting to either swap Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So we're looking at a couple of different tools, and I'll explain that closer to the date. But you're right, because I won't tell you what the estimations are now for the auction, but there's some stupid estimations for the auctions now. Reebok shoes get special access, not these particular ones, mate, because we, as you noticed, we weren't mentioned as a partner. We were literally just helping take it to market and facilitating. So, yes. Can you watch this new video on VR headset as a VR video? Not yet. Have other clients or investors seen today's video before today? No, we kept it under double wraps. We never even showed our team. I think our team saw it on Monday for the first time, but the answer to that is no. And if you want, I can even show you categoric proof of that. If you go onto Twitter and have a look at my latest tweet, I've tagged Mike Novogratz because he is yet to see the. So we've talked about it all the way up, and then he's yet to see it. So I just tagged him now, and that's how guarded we've been. We've basically said no one gets to see it till it comes out. Will Miss Philippines be in virtual space? Yes, it will. Races, yeah, I probably shouldn't say some of the stuff I say, right? I'm going to get in a lot of trouble. Geez, I'm a little bit behind,
Yeah,
aren't
definitely, 100%. Yeah, that one, 100%
Okay,
shouldn't elaborate on that.
I'll try and shut my mouth a bit. I'll try and read fast through these as well because I'm way behind now. Esports, right? Yeah, actually, as far as esports is concerned, we've always talked about esports, and there's one thing I can talk about because I've talked about it since day one. There is an esports stadium in the virtual space, and it will be able to host actual mainstream massive esport events. So that's being built in the space, 100%. Yeah, Mario Kart's racing, all of that type of stuff. I'm not allowed to talk about that. So zip it.
Yeah, you can skip like the next 50 chats because they're talking about races. Just move along.
Well, actually, you wrote Mars too, Hero Gamer. A lot of people have said, what about the local levels? So the guys that we're working with, the creative team, are very, very creative, and they've come up with some really great ways to link the worlds, even though they're on the local level. So I'm not going to spoil that surprise because some of it's still being worked out, but you may well be able to see the other stations floating in the distance, like Philippines, Indonesia, or like a country map. Reebok are flying shoes. I don't know where this is all coming from. So it's been pretty popular. That's for sure. Benny, so far behind on the chat. Yeah, that's sometimes written. What's Benny looking at for the questions? Because I'm so far behind. All right, so that's a lot of Reebok stuff. I'm trying to whiz through a little bit. XP for interest in the tweet about using the drones for advertising. I just thought it was like brilliant. I think that like I was going to. Oh, it's almost slipped in that. Careful what I say. I think the Chinese are when we first started, we sort of said we're a venture builder and we're looking for $1 billion companies to their models for bringing in companies to the Southeast Asian region. China's the country we look more to than we do to the US, purely based on the fact that these guys are like the innovation and their ability to scale is phenomenal. Actually, Hero Gamer, you wrote they need convincing they're so behind. I've had several conversations just with Australian government and stuff recently with the government bodies and then with blockchain week. I'll tell you, even Australia's like a lot of the bigger players didn't believe that NFTs were a thing and the virtual worlds were such a thing and the blockchain space was actually having any success. It was really weird. Any left field NFT use cases that you're thinking of other than other projects aren't? Most of what we're thinking about is what other projects aren't, and it's not to be not to try and be a thought leader or market leaders or whatever. What we're trying to do is analyze data and work out where the market's going. So, for example, when we started building our KOGs game and Slammers and all the rest of it, Slam game and KOGs, we built that more than 2 years ago, started building that. So we knew NFTs would be a big thing. Virtual spaces will be a really big thing, and we know what's coming next as well. So we're building stuff that we think is a logical progression. So yeah, I think a lot of people are a bit slow to catch up on stuff, and we're building for, if there's a road, as I've said before, we're building new roads. And when people finally realise that those roads can be travelled on, we want to be at the end of that road and have that lemonade stand and be ready to quench their thirst when they get there. Reeboks are massively undervalued. Well, anything's what a person's prepared to pay for it, mate. Talks will ensue. Oh, gosh, that's a good dad joke, Hiker. How far behind am I? It's 5 minutes. Are we going to even have a chance to get land or a store, do you reckon? I don't know, Terence. I really don't know. I think that I'd like to think so. I'd like to hope so. I think it's going to be pretty successful, though, based on the fact that there's only 100 blocks for sale, and some of the marquee clients that we'll bring in are big. So it's very, very hard to say, mate. Very hard to say. I hope some of you get a shot, because we focus on digital inclusion, so it's something I've been thinking about for weeks and months. I think there'll be a lot of people that have shops that sort of sell items on consignment, and that way smaller producers or smaller creators can have a chance to sort of showcase their stuff. and sell it. I don't know how much it's going to go for. To be honest, I got no idea. Regarding the options, you have to set aside the RFOX for the bid when you place the bid, or do you pledge a price and then have time to pay after the auction is concluded? How then do you deal with the changing value of RFOX token over the period of the auction, or how do you deal with someone not paying after they've won the bid? No bid system, you'll have to actually put it down, mate. And the RFOX fluctuation in prices, it's going to be based in RFOX. So we'll start it off as a minimum reserve at 5,000 RFOX at whatever the price is at that time. And that number of RFOX becomes the minimum regardless of fluctuation. Well, that's a great question, Caliber. Apart from building fast, are there any mechanisms to prevent copying by competition? The short answer to that in life is build better quality and build a better product than anybody else, and then you shouldn't worry about competition. So that's why I want to do things right. You know, we do cop a lot of criticism. A lot of people say with what you've built or what you've got and what your story is, you should have, you know, your coin price should already be $2, and you should have all the big influencers talking about you, and you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But the thing is, that's very much I understand the balance, and that's important. What we've always said is that we don't want to be pump and dump. We want to be quality. But the fact is, we've also understand how the system works. We've been around for a long time, and we didn't want to put the foot down on the pedal and turn on the jet engines until such time as we had something to scream about. There's no point opening up a restaurant, inviting everybody in, and then saying, oh, we haven't started the kitchen yet, so you can't eat anything. They're not going to come back. So now that we've got some stuff to show them, and we've and I can tell you, regardless of the token holder's perspective, regardless of whether it's really bullish or it's I'm waiting to see or whatever, I'll tell you something. The brand side and the investor side, so the big equity investor side, if you knew how bullish they were, then the token side will come very shortly. Let me tell you. There's a lot of people pouncing at the minute. How can we help as a community?
That is not financial advice.
That's not financial. I don't ever talk about the coin price is what people are prepared to pay for it, right? And the glaringly obvious elephant in the room is we don't have a lot of liquidity. But the fact is, I'll tell you one other thing that's in the room, elephant in the room as well. A lot of tokens don't have liquidity, but you think they do. And we've refused to go down the route of fake liquidity. So we will get it naturally, and it's about to come. How can you help as a community member? Just by spreading the word. Yeah, I think, Joiner, what we've always asked is that people take time to learn about it. If you are interested in it, learn about it, and then help us educate. You can become an ambassador. So we've got a program where you can join, and we've got some amazing people in our community that really just sort of spend a lot of time helping other people that are coming in, educating them, and then they share stories about how they've talked to their family and friends and brought other people in, and it's really great. We don't ask you to do anything you don't want to do that you're not comfortable with, and we never ask you to shill stuff or repost the message that we've posted in. We don't do that. We've got a no dickhead policy in our communities, and we really want people that actually that want to push the space forward and believe in what we're doing. Yes, you have to bid with RFOX. Pete, I am Pete. You can. We've already got people that I don't know what side channels or whatever are going on, and I can't recommend side.
The I am Pete is not Pete. The I am Pete is apprentice. He changed his name from Pokemon to I am Pete.
Okay. Well, apprentice. The short answer to that is that I know there are side groups going on that are trying to actually chip in to buy places. I can't stop that. I can't condone that, and I can't suggest who to go to or what to go to. That's your money, your research, and your risk. But I know there's a number of groups that are looking at going in. Collab. Well, that's a very good question here again on collab with Elon Musk. Wade's here. He'll be able to tell you if I set my mind to working with somebody or working for or with somebody, I'll make it happen. It's just a matter of getting their attention the right way. if we wanted to do something, I'll make sure it happens. I'm determined and I'm focused, and I'll get it done. But the fact is, I have to have a good enough and a compelling enough reason for that person to pay attention. I'm not going to be a sycophant and go up and pull on someone's leg and say, "Hey, tweet about me like you did with Doge." I want him to actually say, "Shit, these guys are." Pardon my French. Shit, these guys are doing amazing stuff, and I want to get involved, or I want to work with them, or I want to at least reach out and talk to them, or something like that. Rather than us being like beggars. Yes, that's correct, Crypto Joe. They will span the globe. Yep. That brings up the question of how much RFOX. If the price doubles over the auction week, what happens when you need twice as much? Well, you put it in as a bid, mate. So it's a bid. So it'll be locked away, just like ETH. Is the 2 million VFOX in the initial pool included in the 5? No. So what happens is there's a 2 million locked away, and there's 19 million that come out over the next 5 months, and it's not included. Yep. Correct. That's correct. We're looking at an unlock mechanism, VGen. Actually, to be honest, we're still looking at the exact tool that we want to use. Can you watch the new Cog Shop trailer with the VR headset? Oh, someone's asked that already. I see there'll be no reflections in the sneak peek. Hoping to catch a glimpse of an avatar. Huh. Will there be Golden Benny statue in the middle of the vault space? No. There certainly won't. Lots of restaurant
Golden
openings.
banana.
Exactly. Oh, nice coffee cup. Jesus, am I that far behind? No, not really. Tesla dealership shopping house. But actually, Hero Gamer, to be honest, we spoke to a very big car company last night, and they we were trying to explain the concept to them, and yes, if you want to rebid because someone outbids you, you need to buy more RFOX. You can't unlock your RFOX, right? Yeah. So Phantom, we're looking at like a lock and release system, so same as you'd have on Ethereum. That's the preferred method anyway. So if I put in a bid for 50 RFOX, and then someone comes along and puts in a bid for 60 RFOX, then my 50 gets released. Doesn't lock everybody's money up. Just the winning bid. Will marquee clients be announced before the land sale? Yeah, absolutely, because I'll be very honest with you. We'd be pretty stupid if we didn't announce the marquee clients before the land sale, because that would really hurt the land sale. And you want the land sale to be successful, because as VFOX holders, a percentage will be given back to you, and a percentage of the RFOX will be used for ongoing staking and rewards. So the higher the land prices go for, if you were pissed and you missed out, and you had some VFOX and RFOX, you kind of like, it's a double-edged sword, as far as like you'll still get rewarded because of the fact that you'll get payouts, and you'll also have that deflation as well.
Yeah, and also the burn, right? The more we raise from the sale, the more we burn.
Yeah. Apprentice, we're going to officially announce this tomorrow and talk about this tomorrow, but I can kind of cover it at the moment. We're always going to put our community first, as far as the VFOX farming and all the rest of it's concerned. And as you guys know, PancakeSwap's been through a V1 to V2, maybe you don't know, a migration, and there's still a few things that need to be sorted out. So we're sort of playing things by ear, and we're working out whether or not we exactly what those timeframes are. But the fact is that we are making sure, from the bridge side to the farms to everything, that everything is 100% kosher, audited, done the right way. We've got the audits back and all the rest of it. We just need to make sure that we iron out some of these kinks and bugs between the V1 and the V2s, because there's still some things that are not quite right. Is it possible that RedFOX will become a launch pad for any new projects? R2, I'm not going to say that it is possible, and I'm not going to say that it isn't possible, but we've already been approached several times to do that. We do have a farm. There will be ongoing staking and LP provisions. There will be a finance arm of RFOX specifically for DeFi, and there are other projects that have already committed to coming across and locking up against RFOX. So it is possible. Is RFOX going to be locked up during the whole farming and staking period? Yes, sir. Yes, it will. Yes. So 100% it will. I know that I'm still getting a ton of messages from people saying, what should we be doing for our strategy? How far off is the Slam game release? I'll let Fads walk you through that on Friday. There's some, it's crazy. Like the other day I had a very interesting and probing interview, and they asked what are the top 5 things that I was most excited about that was coming up, and I was like, I can't fit it into 5. There's so many things happening on the RFOX game side as well. There's just so many big things happening, and that's led to partnerships, and we've got marquee clients and brands, and we've got deals on the table. And the good part about it was we used to chase people for deals, and now we've got people chasing us. So that's a really, really wonderful turnaround. And we're actually finally, for the first time in our company's history, we're in the position where we can actually say no to some people that we would have probably given a left kidney to work with a year ago. So the farming and the land sale overlap. Yes, they sure do. They do indeed, Phantom. Yeah, so Burdekin, how that works is you said they can't because the rewards have to be paid out from the land sale. So how it actually works, as we've explained before, is it's a retrospect thing. So what happens, for example, and that's why the farming lasts for 5 months. So at the end of 5 months, we'll be ready to make the first payout. So everyone will have the VFOX in their hands, and we would have known exactly how much the land sales were. We would have known exactly how much any revenue was, and we'll be able to say, right, every holder gets X, and then the process starts again. So 3 months exactly later, we'll say, this is how much it'll be. You'll know exactly what you're going to, what is going to be paid out. Can Phil join us tomorrow and walk through the upcoming marketing comms? I don't know, you'll have to ask him. Where was this interview, Benny? It's a podcast, but the thing with, I've done I reckon I do 5 or 6 a week, and sometimes 2 come out in a week, sometimes 10 come out in a week, and you just don't know when they're coming out because they've all got different editing and processing. Some of them don't ever come out at all. So yeah, anything from the play to earn race spirits for those who miss staking. XP, stay tuned. The Vault looks really cool. What's the marketing plan moving forward from here? We're working with some really top flight creative and ad agencies that are, again, we would have killed to work with these people a year ago, and now we get to, so it's really, really exciting. They do ads for Champion and Riot Games and all sorts of big companies, and we're not talking, as I've said, about these cartoon, the crypto economy runs on, none of this crap. It's actually, we can do some proper high-end advertising campaigns, so we're really, really excited about that and very excited to step up the ante on that. You'll also notice that we do a lot more external marketing as well, and some, when I say external, I mean legacy formats of marketing. We've also got obviously the virtual space and the game and lots of ways to market. And then we're also, you'll notice that more and more crypto people start speaking about us as well, because we know that because the obviously of what we're doing and all the rest of it, and it's catching people's attention now. Yeah, so Simba, we still work towards having everything ready by Friday, and that's our internal deadline and goal and all the rest of it. So that's why we've been moving through the audit process and all the rest of it. But as stated, there's been a lot of stuff come up that's V1, V2, the different pancake, the router issues. So we are treading carefully and making sure that we've got everything in place. And like I say, we're not going to go out if there is any danger of any of our users sort of being put at unnecessary risk or just confusing or just a dodgy experience. So we want to make sure that we've tested it thoroughly internally and we make sure that it's working properly. And yes, but our internal deadline is Friday, but we'll go when it's fixed. So will there be a predetermined snapshot of VFOX holders for the payout? So DGM will explain how that works closer to the time as well. But technically speaking, because a lot of people have said, well, isn't it a security if it's a payout and all the rest of it? So if you stake or you subscribe, so there's a couple of ways you can do that. If you stake or subscribe or pay a very small fee for the transaction to go into a staking pool to get a reward, then it meets and ticks all the boxes. So I've just basically told you there, but I'll give you greater details as the time draws nearer. But you just have to go through the motion of actually performing a task and showing that you're doing work, and that work is rewarded. So you'll need to hold VFOX at the end of the quarter to still be entitled to the retrospective rewards. Yeah, actually, Madame, we've looked at 2 different ways to do it. We've looked at the doesn't matter if you buy it the day before and then you go through the process of holding it to get the reward, versus looking at the lockup mechanism as well. The lockup mechanism is a more attractive mechanism. You might say, well, as a holder, it's not. What you want from the lockup perspective is you want people to be taking liquidity off the market so that there's scarcity and all the rest of it. So that's good for the holders. So there's a couple of different models there that we'll explain to you closer to the day. When bus ads, people still catch buses in COVID? Don't think so. When would it be a good time to have an interview on a good crypto channel such as Altcoin Daily? Yeah, that's all coming now, mate. We've also been reluctant. We've done a little bit of it, obviously, but yeah, we've been a bit reluctant, and we've been a bit careful who we've used as well, as far as like who we've said yes to. So delays in farming also delay edition 3, etc. Is it like a domino effect or a preset order must be released? So Phantom, the truth in the fact of that is that, as you know, with the game that came out in closed beta, we hired a GM after the fact that we'd brought out the that, and as is our model, it's a DBOT model, so we design, build, operate, and transfer. And we realised at that time we've got some really good opportunities, and we've got some really good partners. We talked about the platform that we're going to work with and all the rest of it. So having that bit of expertise and having people come in to sort of say this needs to step up a couple of notches to be reskinned and to be more appealing to the Play Store and what's the Apple one called? Whatever. Does anyone still use that? Yeah, so for Apple and Android and all the rest of it, we have to make the game more appealing. So they've undergone a facelift. The back end hasn't changed; it's just the front. So they're nothing to do with each other. To be honest with you, mate, they're nothing to do with each other. One of them's design that's going to get KOGs greater usage and more people coming into the space, and the other is safety. To be honest, it's 100% safety wise. I don't want anybody being put into a situation of unnecessary risk. There's always risk involved in everything related to crypto. So whatever we can do to mitigate that risk, we will. Have you been approached by YouTube channels? Yes. App Store, that's it. App Store. That's what I thought. And then I thought, no, it's not called the App Store, is it? So we have been approached by YouTube channels, of course, and that is becoming more and more now. So I would expect you'll see quite a few people pick it up now, quite a few. And the reason is because no one could conceptualize what we were talking about, because we had been very guarded on releasing any pictures or any footage or anything like that. But for those of you who have asked, and I've had a lot of DMs on that as well, how will COGs and the games play a part in the virtual space? There's a whole quarter that's themed for games and esports and all the rest of it. It's going to be a huge part. Regarding the land sale, will they be all equal size or equally divided blocks, or will there be big blocks, small blocks, coffee shop on the corner type block that might be more accessible for non-RFOX millionaires, or are they all equal? Will they be auctioned one at a time or at once? So they will be auctioned at once, but in allotments. And in answer to your question, we've always designed and planned to have some kiosks type offerings as well, mate. So for example, there's like 3D designers and asset builders and creators and services. We actually talked about also for the local level having almost like a hawker's corner, so having like a big food court that we've talked about, where you can actually get real world deliveries that you order through the virtual space. And for that, we understand that the price point needs to be a ton lower, because if you're talking about Southeast Asian countries and you're talking about vendors, small vendors for food and cloud kitchens and stuff like that, the price points have to be very different than digital spaces.
Benny, isn't there a cog called food court?
There is. There is. How do you see
Okay, that's it. All of them are going to start buying all those. That is not financial advice.
Exactly. Z-Train, how do you see a Binance NFT marketplace playing out in terms of competition with what you're creating? I think most people are competing with us on one level or one element or whatever, but I think it's pretty obvious that Binance is moving towards being a full ecosystem. So I think that there would be a lot of crossover, but people said the same thing with like Wax or Ethereum or whatever. But the fact is that we're all striving for adoption. Auction time going to be reasonable for Aussies. Adelaide will go for 72 hours. So yes. Can we buy billboards? You can. You'll be able to buy them or rent them. When Jollibee? Never. Only going to sell real food that you can actually eat, mate. Will there be further sneak peek footage? Yeah, as stated here again, we're going to do what we did with first edition KOGs. So we're going to, now that you've started seeing it, now we're going to start laying down the story behind it, the theme, the folklore, and then start showing you reveals. So we'll build up the storylines behind it and what the different quarters look like and all the rest of it. And then we go through the process of recruitment for the quartermasters. And as stated, that's a real job. So imagine that, going there, hopping on a SkyTrain, going out to your quarter, and your job's like the dude or the dudette that walk around and actually make sure that everybody's got what they need and help make sure the quarter looks good and bring in all your big performers and artists for concerts and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty cool. Can we have transportation Lambo bicycles in virtual space? Is there a Lambo cog apprentice? Is there a Lambo cog?
That is not financial advice.
Will the SkyTrains have advertising on the side, i.e. Grab? They might do, Matt. They can do. You said to remind you about Kogu today when popped up in the Reebok drop. What's Kogu? He's a little dude sitting in a little what? What did we just reveal as well? There you go. Can the community cog holders be involved in beta testing the V-Space walkthrough, etc.? We always want to make sure that our early supporters get privileges, as we've stated to you before. All I can hint at this particular point in time is that there will be a NFT type ticketing system, and yes, the answer to that is yes, you will be able to get privileges. I was joking, Phantom. It is popular. I don't know why. When Choina can change Choina's mind. When Choina can you change Choina's mind? SkyTrains, absolutely. Lamborghini. The LamCog allows you to own a real Lambo in the virtual space, UFO transportation. See, now you're going, Phantom. That's why we pay you the big bucks. Can I catch a jeepney to another V city? All your imaginations are running wild now, aren't they? So Kogu equals personal transport, does it? Look at this, Pete. Can't wait to drive my lamb cog. How much notice are we going to receive before the pool farming launches? I know the bridge comes first, but what is the ideal announcement timeframe you're working towards versus the minimum you would accept? Example, 24 hours versus 6 hours. So, DGen, the answer to that is we do want to allow some period of time, probably closer to the 24, might even be a little bit more, once the bridge opens, because we want people to be able to bridge their tokens across. What we don't want is a stampede 2 minutes before farming starts. We're going, that's the sound we don't like. I haven't heard Pokemon yet. Sorry, apprentice. When Pokemon in virtual space? Okay, that's what I want to hear. Does virtual world have cybersecurity risk? How does one protect from it? That's a good question, and I think we've talked about it before, but I can happily talk to you about it again. We take that very, very seriously, obviously, and we work with some pretty good firms, and one of the firms we work with is Blackpoint Cyber, and Blackpoint is the ex-head of NSA and all the dudes that worked in Snowden's era. So we use that for all of our systems and protection and all the rest of it. So we do take cybersecurity seriously. So we've got some good people in our circle as well that are helping and able to advise with how to approach all of that. So that's something that we leave to people far smarter than us on that in that particular realm.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah,
I'm driving. I can't type this question. You had mentioned earlier about the country wanting to bring its citizens, I guess, into the virtual space. Did I understand? Was that the way you had mentioned it?
Not really citizens. I think that we've just had a little bit of an increased interest, and it's something that we are actually keen to pursue. It's more from the perspective of I hadn't actually realised it, but apparently what had happened was, and I've just got links to it, but I have to translate it because I can't understand it. Apparently, in one of the countries, I can say which country it is. It's China. There's been a bit of a recent interest, and people are starting to take notice of it, and they're putting their foot down a little bit, asking why we're not on one of the big Chinese exchanges. And they're pretty big into video games and metaverses, obviously. So there's a lot of interest, and they're asking for an ambassador, and they're asking for people to translate the materials, and they're asking for a bit of hand-holding, and we've actually got some very strong contacts. So we're looking at sort of exploring the opportunity to at least open up RedFOX into the Chinese region as far as support and all the rest of it is concerned, and getting them all the information that they're looking at getting. But these communities are probably small in Chinese terms, but for the rest of the world, they're bloody ginormous. So I think they see it as something that they could really, I think they're just really looking for something like this, mate. And I think the space theme and all the rest of it is something that would really, really interest them as well. So I'll update you with that. We're working on something now, but that'll be a big campaign through China as well. Got so much going on in the next 4 days that I was planning to cancel, but I'll set me back well if I do. So if the launch doesn't look like going ahead this weekend, personally, would be stoked. Well, we do things for you, DGen. We'll keep you posted. All you need is beer, meat pie, and a blowtorch. You'll be fine. Hero Gamer Hoiby. Yeah, we know the guys at Hoiby. We've been talking to them, and we've been talking to some of the other tier ones as well. We're ticking all the right boxes now. The only thing that probably isn't in our favour is liquidity, but the good part about that is that those exchanges can see the potential and how big the project will be. So therefore, we're working to work with those people to open up the audiences that will actually give us the liquidity and exposure and all the rest of it. So it's no secret in any way, shape or form, but I just want to wait till we've got it solidified to be able to tell you. But we did say that we'd pull the trigger on marketing and also bigger exchange listings. So that's something that we need to sort of work our way through the years. And the second tier exchanges have been underwhelming for us because we need to really promote the products now and start signing up and bringing people in. So we've been madly working on global registration systems and federated logins and all sorts of stuff. So we're trying to make sure that we're in place. We've just got a brand new BI whiz as well that's settling in, and he's helping to set up all of our intelligence. What we don't want to do is just, as William Quigley says, he does, go out and just throw shit against the wall. We want to make sure that what we do, we know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Will there be any limits or queue as to the number of users able to visit the VR shops concurrently? That's something that we've also not made any secrets about. The first iteration is likely to not have large crowds, meaning an isolated number. And the reason that is because one, the way it's built, and two, the level of iterations that we have to go through. The virtual space itself, like for example, why you take a train, besides a cool experience, is because we do use real-time rendering and we do want to make it an amazing graphical experience, and it does take, so that buys us 30 seconds or so to be able to make sure that when you arrive at your destination that you don't have to walk into some sort of laggy, crappy type of environment or whatever. It's all planned out to make sure that your experience is really, really smooth. So in the beginning, there'll be things happening in the background and stuff. You think about GTA, for example, you're pretty much the only player in the game. But yet in the background, there's people fighting and all the rest of it. There's still liveliness and it feels like it's a very vibrant and alive. So we have to click through the gears, and that'll be the same for the technology. It'll be a gradual introduction of the VR and AR and all the rest of it as well. Korean, we've actually got a guy in Korea who's sort of starting to build an audience for us that apparently does this, and we'll be working with some Korean ambassadors for sure to try and build the audience there, but it's all dependent on their performance. DGen, I'll answer that later, but yes, we've already talked about the fact that we want to bring the KOGs alive. Will you be able to enter the virtual space with our Pokemons? Okay, what have we got? A few more questions. So will the land sale blocks, how do you define how much space is inside? E.g., if you walk through someone's virtual door, what determines? Oh yeah, someone asked that before as well. How big are each of the blocks? Are some big and some small? So that there'll be a slight difference between the main thoroughfares and also the back alley type of buildings. And as we've said, it's a work in progress, and we've sort of made changes along the way, but those changes have come due to the fact that we've had access to better technology and better builders and better options. So the one thing I want to put as a caveat today, if there's one thing you remember, is you've got to understand that things are likely to get better as time goes on. And that's why we're doing it as a slow reveal as well, because we're still building, and we're actually, every couple of weeks, something new pops up that we didn't realize we had or had access to, and it's making what we're offering you much better. So we're pretty excited about that. Have you spoken directly with Terra about a potential stablecoin or just ideas for now? I spoke to them 2 days ago, Matt the Vulture. 2 mornings ago. Or it could have been yesterday morning. I can't remember what bloody day it is, to be honest. But Novogratz's team helped make the connection, and we've been talking, yes. Will there be a kids version of our virtual world? So the fact is, it's supposed to be stimulating and exciting for everybody, and we're already working with one of the big projects that we're trying to get on now. Has a very big education element to it as well. So that will cater specifically for kids as well. The fact that we all have diamond hands doesn't help for liquidity. That's right, mate. But with what we're about to execute and what we're about to roll out and release, I think even the staunchest of diamond hands might be tested. So Will Cogger and VFOX for transporting. You're hilarious. Visitors in Vault. wait and see. Somewhere we can send Apprentice. Yeah, there'll be a little Pokemon ride at the end of one of those that you'll think you're in a train going out to another world, and it'll just go straight over the edge or something. Do you have to wear pants in the virtual space? Well, in the first part, if it's mainly you with the backgrounds and all the rest of it, no, I'd imagine they'd be optional. He's a degen, so we're going degen now, are we? Are you going to list all the KOGs utilities, or is it something we have to figure out or stumble across? Actually, Katie, that's a good question. One of the things we want to really do, because we love that, we've already talked about how to do it, is a lot of Easter eggs in the virtual space. I noticed that people during the video tonight were already looking for Easter eggs, but that's got to be something, and it's something we've talked to clients and partners about. They want to do Easter eggs as well, so it's also a great intro for AR as well. So we'll definitely be doing that. All right, any last questions for the last couple of minutes? I know we've got a lot of people here. We've got new people here as well, so don't be shy to speak up if you want to ask something, because that's what it's for. Any hints of functionality of other KOGs like plans? Don't forget, Hanford, even though I might have some cool ideas or I think they're cool ideas for KOGs, as stated, I'm not the person who designs and I'm not the person who does that. I'm just a person who is here, and other people than me have plans and designs and stuff like that. Are you really James Halliday? Will there be secret rooms? Everyone loves the secret room. We have said, if you go back over how many interviews that I've done since day one, we've always said KOGs will allow people special access to hidden levels, or so there you go. You would like to be a full-time egg hunter. Yeah, that'd be cool. When announcement of the utility of the RFOX 2020 and Dem KOGs Apprentice, little bit by little bit. Take me out for dinner and drinks first. A platform 9 3/4. Just asking in case you knew it. Now it's going downhill pretty quick now, isn't it? When a dinner with Benny, I don't think many people would want that. In the virtual space. Okay, so
Benny, I just counted. Yeah. We got 71 people in this room in voice. Just voice. Yeah, I think that's a record.
Very good. Well done. Thank you very much for joining. Appreciate that. How close on credit card sales? Hanford, like stupidly close. Stupidly close. The thing is, as we've stated since day one, and I don't mean to overstate this, because how many times have we said this? We want to make it so that the end user doesn't know that they're actually interacting with blockchain or crypto if they don't want to. We want to always give people the option, but the fact is, if people can play with credit card and then have it course through RFOX, that's a good situation for us, because I've got lots of relatives and friends who say, how do you buy this stuff? You try and get a person to buy KOGs that have never been in crypto before. Go sign up to an exchange, get wax, send wax to there. Then you've got to do, and it's like, these people are like, oh, is wax your coin? No, it's actually, no. It's very hard to explain. We need to stop those explanations, and we need to be able to say, we'll take whatever you've got. It's easy to pay. It's easy to transact. It's easy to trade. It's easy to buy and sell, and you don't have to think about it. Sorry, last minute question. The NFT marketplace, will it be free? Huh?
Sorry, I was just going to ask just on that, because it's something I had thought of, but hadn't asked yet regarding the credit cards. Have you guys figured out a way of how to deal with chargebacks?
The companies that we're dealing with do have that sort of stuff. So we've made no bones about that or secrets about that as well. We've talked to the Stripes, and we've talked to USDC. We've talked to a whole heap of different providers and on-ramps, and that is a provision that they do have. So we're still working through some of the details, and we're still working through which providers to use in which circumstances, but Yeah, we try and cover all bases, but we're never going to get all of it 100% right. But there's lots of stuff to consider now as well, especially with some of these platforms have very strict KYC and AML. Some of them are cool for you to bring money in, but you can't take it out. Look at Flow. Good God. Yeah. So to be honest, that's one of those things that we're still sort of finalizing, and it may end up being that we have multiple providers, which is probably the more likely, because some of these providers just don't suit certain regions of the world that we're in as well. So they might be, Taylor focused and all the rest of it. And we've got, through Brian Koo, we've got intros to companies in the Philippines, but those companies might not offer services externally, because if they're an e-money provider or an e-wallet provider, they may not have licenses in other countries. NFT focused on art, gaming, music, or other types. How the NFT marketplace works is it's like a Shopify for NFT. You can create anything you like. So basically, you're whipping up a website, a company's website.
I didn't know if it's still working or if it's still working.
I think that's XP, is it, Pete? So new website.
Yeah, I muted him. I think he's talking. I muted him.
Look at Fads. There you go. New website, credit card payments for packs, and new release of KOGs Slam coming in the next few weeks. See? There you go. He says it in 2 sentences. As we say, we don't sit around playing tiddlywinks all day. Everyone's doing a lot of stuff. There you go. He's writing a lot of stuff. Good. Sweet. Now I can chew through my... Yeah, that's exactly right, Matt the Vulture. It's really, really important that we make it a lot easier for people than it already is, because it's like one of my friends who's got into crypto for the first time because of us, he actually came back and asked us the question, how hard are you trying to make it for me to actually buy your stuff? Because it looks like you spend a lot of time and effort making it impossible for me to actually get your stuff. And being a customer experience person and being in that industry for so long, I don't understand why that's the case. And then he went and tried to buy everybody else's stuff and said, holy guacamole, it's impossible to buy anything in this space. Why is it so hard? So that's
So Benny, all my friends who I tell them about KOGs, and then they know that I'm working in RedFOX and all that, and they say, hey, what products are you selling? He says, oh, this is our token, this is our product, KOGs and all that. And all of them like, okay, I got no idea how to buy this shit. Says, can't you just accept credit card?
Crazy.
I'm like, yeah, just wait. When you get credit card, then the mass market will come in. All my MTG goons will jump in. And in case you guys didn't know, Wizards of the Coast, the creators of Magic the Gathering, has mentioned that there might be dabbling into NFTs.
We're also going to be dabbling into the gaming space as well. You might say you already are, but you join those dots together. Yeah, you're very early. Question, you said, good question. Will the world refresh or look like seasonally or be static? Madame, that is why we're appointing quartermasters. So the part of the quartermaster's role is to keep the spaces fresh and to make sure that they are. We can't have the same theme for the next 10 years and all the rest of it. These cities will be like living cities. They will be progressive. They will be changing. Don't forget the buildings are NFTs. They will 100%. These cities will evolve and have different technologies introduced, and therefore different looks and feels introduced, and they will be a constantly changing work of art. Told all my friends I sold a picture of shoes. They had no idea what I was talking about. Z-Train, when you tell your friends, I just sold a picture of shoes, and they laugh at you, then say to them, for 7 times the price of an actual pair of shoes. And then watch that smile disappear, and then they say, how do you get those shoes? Wizards on RedFOX Cash App. Morning all. Fantastic. And grow a tree in the virtual world and have solar panels. Actually, weird enough you say that. Was that you that messaged me? Someone was actually saying, can we do virtual trees with some sort of donation thing to it? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Was that you? No, not you. They were saying something like something similar to like plant a tree. They were saying if we could buy a tree that's an NFT and put it there, could the proceeds of the NFT tree go to charities and stuff? And I was like, I haven't thought about that. But realistically, of course, it's up to the quartermasters and up to you guys, right? It's a sandbox. It's your world. It is a cool idea, I guess, Matt the Vulture. Actually, it sounded really dumb to me until I just repeated it just then, and now I thought, actually, that does sound cool when you say it out loud. Yeah, build a wishing well. This tree idea sounds cool. There you go. Someone's going to go out and bring out tree NFTs now and say, buy a tree NFT. We'll plant a real tree in real life, and 80% of that money will go to charity. Knowing this market, it'll be a $10 billion company. Tree NFT. Good God. Come back to the world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. If you've got more questions, then let us know. We're extremely grateful and humbled by the fact that you guys came along tonight, especially in such big numbers. It is the very, very beginning, and I hope we've given you enough to at least conceptualize where we're going with this, and that was the idea. And just like with KOGs, we're going to keep blowing you away with this gradual rollout and release and reveal. But I can assure you, from the investor side and from the team side, if you guys get anywhere near as excited as we are, this is going to be very, very big. So we appreciate your patience and sticking with us for all of this time. And now it's time that we can start delivering and we can start building some amazing stuff together. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And no, thank you for your time. Everyone's got an important trade restart. All right. Thank you again, guys. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next Wednesday, and stay tuned on the social channels for update 3, the farming. But just to say it again, I'm not going to apologize if we have to delay it for a few days or whatever, because the thing is, we're going to go when it's safe, and we're going to go when all those little issues have been sorted out on their side. But ultimately, it's an important thing for the company and also for the users. So we want to make sure that we get it right. So have a fantastic couple of days, and speak to you shortly.